If you liked the video, feel free to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for stopping by. Adeptus Custodes, why take Psykana units? This video is taking a look at the three main Sisters of Silence units for the Adeptus Custodes, the Prosecutors, Witchseekers, and Vigilators. I was writing this as a Prosecutors deep dive. There was not much reason rules-wise in our detachments to bring a Psykana unit, especially the Prosecutors, other than our Null Maiden Vigil detachment. Yet we see Prosecutors and Vigilators in almost every GT winning list, and almost every Hubtown Hammer Custodes list. This video will try to answer the question of why take Psykana units in our list. We will take a look at each one of our Psykana units and the benefits of taking one of these units in a Custodes list. First up, we have the Prosecutors. 6-inch movement, toughness 3, 3-up save, 1 wound, 6 leadership, and an OC of 1. For ranged weapons, we have the bolt gun, 24-inch range, 1 attack, hitting on a 3+, strength 4, AP 0, damage 1, with rapid fire 1. The melee weapon, we have a close combat weapon, 2 attacks, hitting on a 3+, strength 3, AP 0, damage 1. For our unit composition, we can either have 4, 5, 9, or 10 models. Keywords, we have Infantry, Imperium, Anathema Psykana, and Prosecutors. They do have the Adeptus Custodes faction keyword as well. Prosecutor abilities, we have Daughters of the Abyss. Models on this unit have the 3+ Fatal Pain ability against psychic attacks and mortal wounds. Then we have Purity of Execution. Each time a model in this unit makes a ranged attack that targets a Psyker unit, that attack has the Precision and Devastating Wounds abilities. The Humble Prosecutor unit, the cheapest, most on-special unit in the Custodes Codex. The second ability that I don't think I've ever used. Like most of us, I had forgotten it even existed. Yet I usually have 1 or even 2 units in every one of my lists. And why is that? Points win games. As of November 2025, a unit of 4 Prosecutors is 40 points. A unit of 2 Alaris Terminators is 120 points, or a unit of 4 Custodian Guard is 160 points. 40 points for 4 models is actually very cheap for the Adeptus Custodes. It is 40 points for trash guns and a lackluster damage ability, as well as 40 points for a 3+ save model with a 3+ Fatal Pain to mortals and psychic damage with an OC of 2. They may not do a lot of damage, but they are a great utility unit. What can we do with a 40-point model unit with a decent defensive profile? We score points with it. Why cleanse with a 260+ point Wardens unit when we can do it with a 40-point Prosecutor unit? Shield Host has the only sticky objective stratagem. The other 5 detachments, we need to be within range of an objective to hold it. For 40 points, we can have a unit to stand on those objectives. Sticky objectives light. Ask your opponent, do you have any indirect fire? Do you have any units in reserves? If the answer is no, we can spend 40 points for the Prosecutors to hold our home objective. Why use an expensive Custodes unit to stand there doing nothing all game? Prosecutors may look trash tier compared to our other Adeptus Custodes units. What they do is help score, while the more expensive units can do the more important things needed throughout a game. Next up is the Witchseekers. They have the same profile as the Prosecutors, movement 6, toughness 3, 3-up save, 1 wound, 6 leadership, and an OC of 1. The ranged weapon is different though. We have the Witchseeker Flamer, 12-inch range, D6 attacks, automatically hit since this is a torrent weapon, strength 4, AP 0, damage 1, with ignores cover and torrent. The melee weapon is the same, the close combat weapon, with a unit composition in the keywords. The Witchseeker abilities, we have the same Daughters of the Abyss, a 3+ Fatal Pain against psychic and mortal wounds, and Sanctified Flames. In your shooting phase, after this unit has shot, select one enemy unit hit by 1 or more of your attacks. That enemy unit must take a battle shock test. There are a few things to take away from the datasheet. A 3+ save while these are in cover makes these hard to take out with a few shots from a small arms weapon. The Daughters of the Abyss ability makes them hard to take out with mortals or psychic. This ability won me a game against the Thousand Suns in one of the last RTTs I went to. The ability to battle shock an enemy unit can be used to turn off a defensive stratagem, or reduce the enemy unit's OC to 0 if we were planning on using the unit to steal an objective. As long as we hit something with our torrent weapon, the Witchseekers can cause a battle shock test onto that enemy unit. What I really like them for is the 6-inch scout ability, which allows them after first turn roll to make a 6-inch movement before the game starts. We can even put them inside a Psykana Rhino to give that Rhino a 6-inch scout move. Every model embarked inside the Rhino must have that 6-inch scout ability. We can't have Vigilators and Witchseekers inside the Rhino and still have scout. It has to be only models with that 6-inch scout ability to give the Rhino a 6-inch scout. I use this ability to scout a unit of Witchseekers towards the middle objective, while the second unit scouts towards our expansion objective. If facing a fast melee threat army, I can use these to extend a 6-inch charge block line. If we use these to block some big charges and then use our hard-hitting Custodes Infantry to counter those charges, we are in a great place. Easily my favorite Psykana unit, the amount of points these Witchseekers have scored me over 10th edition is well worth the price of the unit. Turn 1 area denial, turn 1 objective control, a dangerous unit to move block, a 6-inch scout move can really help get the Adeptus Custodes scoring early. We are on average a slow 6-inch movement army. Having a way to get some mid-board objective control can be the difference between a win and a loss. And yes, we can advance a Warden's unit turn 1 for area denial. Will that 300 point unit still be there after turn 1? Doubtful. I would rather use a cheap Witchseeker unit to do that instead. The last Psykana unit I want to talk about is the Vigilators. Once again, the same profile, 6-inch movement, toughness 3, 3-up save, 1 wound, 6 leadership and an OC of 1. No ranged weapons at all though. For our melee weapons, we do have the Executioner's Great Blade. 2 attacks, hitting on a 3+, strength 5, AP 2, damage 2, with anti-psyker 5+, and devastating wounds. The Vigilator abilities, Daughters of the Abyss, that 3+ feel no pain against psychic and mortal wounds, and then deft parry. Each time a melee attack targets this unit, subtract 1 from the hit roll. These gals hit very hard in the fight phase for a Psykana unit. No pew-pews here. The Witchseekers and Prosecutors are a non-factor for actual damage. The Vigilator's Executioner's Great Blade are no joke. 2 attacks hitting on a 3+, strength 5, AP 2, damage 2, with anti-psyker 5+, and devastating wounds. Devastating wounds allows them to potentially put some damage into monster and vehicle units. Daughters of the Abyss, all of our Psykana units have this ability. It makes them an absolute pain in the rear to take it with psychic attacks and mortal wounds. And that does include grenades as well. It's any kind of mortal wounds they have a 3+ feel no pain against. Deft parry, the ability giving them -1 to the hit of incoming melee attacks, highlights even more why this is a fight phase unit. Deft parry paired with a 3+ base save makes these Vigilators not really a chaff unit to be cleared out with minimal effort. The opponent can't charge into the Vigilators with a shooting unit or something like that just to try to tie up these Vigilators. They will lose that unit. We can attach Leia to the Vigilators. The unit will have the Fight's First ability, as well as +1 to hit when the unit is below starting strength, and +1 to hit and wound when the unit is below half strength. We could also add a Knight Centura and add some speed to the Vigilators. The Leia and Vigilator unit is a great unit. Even then, we do not see the unit or small units of Vigilators in many lists. There is a Adeptus Custodes What's Winning right now coming out soon that has a Talons of the Emperor GT winning list that is using some Vigilators. The Vigilators are a melee unit. Melee is not something we lack in the Adeptus Custodes. We want our Psykana units to cover up our army weaknesses. Melee really isn't a weakness of the Adeptus Custodes. Vigilators have been the same price as Witchseekers all of 10th edition. I would much rather a Witchseeker unit for a utility unit. For a damage Psykana unit, we take the Vigilators. For a utility unit, we take the Witchseekers or the Prosecutors. We will finish the video with some final thoughts. I hope I've convinced some of my fellow 10,000 to try out our Psykana models. They may not hit as hard as Custodes Infantry, but they are important to our scoring and screening potential. I like the Witchseekers for grabbing early board control or extending a charge or block line. The Vigilators are much more of a niche pick. Prosecutors and Witchseekers are seen everywhere. Cheap units to help score is the main reason we see these two units. When there's no threat to our home objective, 40-point Prosecutors are fantastic for holding that home objective without wasting an expensive Custodes unit standing there all game. And Witchseekers are great for that 6-inch scout to grab some early board control, especially the center of the board for some early secondaries. If you have not tried Psykana units in your list, take at least 1 Witchseekers and 1 Prosecutors just to try them out and see how they do. Subscribe for weekly battle reports, list videos and other Warhammer 40K content. Channel members gain early access to videos and access to the channel Discord. Like always, thanks for watching, thanks for stopping by.